Hi, it's Sandy Parker, and welcome to Crafting for Almost Everyone. Today we're going to make a really inexpensive Mother's Day gift, and it's going to be fast and easy. I hope you'll stay tuned. Well, in these times of Corona, there are two things that we don't have enough of, and that is money and the ability to shop. So, the Dollar Tree has these cute little sets of body wash, body lotion, and moisturizing shampoo for $1. And I thought it would be nice if we made some packaging for it and made it really pretty so that it would be not just a gift in a little zip bag, but it would be really well presented. So what you're going to need is you're going to need a piece of scrapbook paper that you can get at Joann's or anywhere for usually around 20 cents a piece. You only need one piece, and you're going to cut it to 8.5 inches across, and you're going to leave the 12-inch side. I'm using kind of a heavier piece, but you want one that's not so heavy that it'll crack when you do it. And usually the people at Joann's will know, you know, like what to tell you when you're in there if you don't know if it'll crack or not. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to score, and we're going to score quite a few places. If you don't have a scoreboard, I'll link a video where I show you how to make a scoreboard out of padded paper. So don't worry, this is not that crucial. So on the 8.5 inch length, you're going to score it at 1/2 inch. Oh, and you want to make sure that you score it on the reverse of, if you're going to be using this as the outside of your paper, then you want to score it on this side. If you're going to do it, if you want this to be your outside, then you want to score it on this side. And in my case, I can't decide. I really like this paper, but I don't know. I'm going to go with it. We're living on the edge. We're going to go with the other side as our front. So in this case, because I want the yellow side to be my front, I'm going to score it on the green side. So you're going to score it at 1/2 inch. Ooh, went right off the grid. I'm not sure what's going on down here. My paper's having a moment here. Then 1.5 inches. Then 7 inches. And 8 inches. Then you're going to turn it, one turn, and this time you're going to score it again at 1/2 inch and 1.5 inches, 6.25 inches. Don't worry, all this is going to be written below. You don't have to worry that you know if you're not catching it. 7.25 inches. And I think that's it. I might be wrong, but I don't think so. I think that's all. Okay. Now we're going to have to do some folding and some trimming. First, we're going to fold in all of our folds. Just to make sure that everything is nice and folded, ready to go. Some of these folds are going to be gone in a minute because we're going to cut them out, but in the meantime, we just want to make sure that we know what we're doing. And there's this one, and this one, and this one, and sorry, you can't even see me doing this. And then the very last one, which is this one. Okay, let's go to the trimming, shall we? We're going to cut off this whole section to the second score line. And then you're going to cut it on just a little bit of an angle. Not a lot of an angle, just a little angle like that. You got that? I didn't get my whole score. You want to cut away the whole score line because that'll mess you up if you don't. Had a little moment there, or I didn't do it. Okay, same thing on this side. We're going to cut in that first score line. You're going to cut all the way over to the second score, and then you're going to just cut a little bit of an angle in like that. Not a lot, just a little. Then in the next section, you're going to cut all of the way to the second score. Again, right in the score line. But you're going to snip off the first section. Like that. That wasn't particularly straight, so we're going to give it another whirl. Okay. Do it the same thing on this side. You're going to cut all the way to the second score line. And then you're going to trim off the first one. Got that? So you should be able to do this. Then we're going to go to the middle two scores. You have these two scores. Well, I guess they're the end two. It's the one that makes that fold like that. And what we're going to do here is we're going to cut all the way to the second score on both of those lines. And we're going to trim off the first little box. Oop, hold on. Sometimes I can't hold it and cut at the same time. Okay. Back to this side. You're going to cut all the way to the second scores. And then you're going to cut off this piece. The first box. That looks bad. Luckily it's in the inside of the box so no one's going to see it, right? I'm pretty sure that's all the trimming we need to do. We're almost done actually. Okay, now the way this box works is that well, I'll show you my mock-up and so you can see it for yourself. What it's going to do is I wanted to reinforce the sides. That's why we have these folded in pieces. But basically all we're going to be doing is closing up the box like this after it's all folded. And then you put the lid down like that. So it's easy to do. It's just a matter of now we just have to put it together. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take score tape. I like score tape for projects like this because it's a strong adhesive and it stays where you put it. And I'm going to run a line of it around on the inside of the set of scores that are closest to this tab that we cut on a diagonal. So on either side on these ones, we're just going to run a line of score tape right there. Make sure you push that down pretty hard because if you don't, sometimes the underneath tape won't stay in place when you take off the paper. So we're going to take off our top paper like that, and we're just going to then, again, this is to make our box a little bit stiffer. We're going to push that down like that. Same on this side. We're going to just push it down like that. Then this is the closure for our box. And I think I want to cut these off a little bit too. Well, we'll get to that in a minute. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to put see, these are to make it, I can put score tape, I'm just talking to myself now. I'm going to put a little glue stick under these pieces. We're going to just, if I get glue stick to come out, I just want to make sure that these pieces are going to lay flat like that. Again, makes our box a little bit more sturdy. this is the glue I normally use. It's this Tombow Mono Aqua. I like it because I can get the glue to come out easily and I never have any problems with it not holding. So I'm just going to put a little bit underneath that little spot that I don't think is going to stay stuck. This time, we're going to put our tear tape on the outside of these two flaps. Okay? So I'm going to open it up again. So this is going to be on the yellow part. You could just use wet glue for this if you wanted to, but like I said, when I'm building things that are like boxes that I want to be really sturdy, I like to use tear tape because I just know it's going to hold. Remember how we made these sturdy by folding those in. That's basically what's going to happen now is we're going to build our box. So what you want to do is then you're going to put another little piece of tear tape underneath just to hold this in place when you're putting your box together. It makes it a lot easier to put the box, to assemble it if you have that glued down. So now we've got tear tape underneath and on top of those both sides. So then what you're going to want to do is you're going to take your box. I'm going to do one side at a time. And I'm going to just line this up. I'm going to put it flat on my surface. And then I'm going to stick my finger, hopefully it is lined up. I'm going to put my hand in the inside to rub it so that the tear tape is able to hold it where I want it. I don't think I got it as lined up as I should have, but anyway, it's lined up. Okay, then on this side, you'll be able to see it better. What you're going to do is you're just going to hold your box as tightly as you can, line it up like that, and then you want to stick your hand in the inside or a ruler, something. You just need to make sure that that's well adhered. Then the thing I wanted to do, I forgot to do, is I wanted to angle this little tab too on both the top and the bottom, just so it makes it easier to insert it. And I also, the last time I did it, I also cut about half of it off just because it made it easier to work with. So you're going to angle it just a little bit. And then you're going to cut it. Just cut. Nobody's going to see this, so it doesn't matter if you cut one side a little bit shorter than the other. Like that. Okay? Then, for some reason, my tear tape didn't hold that where I wanted it to be, so I'm going to put a little wet glue down in here. I'm going to put a clamp on it just to hold it for, well, I call it a clamp. It's actually a clothespin. I just want to make sure that it's well adhered. See on this side how that piece isn't staying adhered. We're going to put a little bit of glue there too. Okay. While this is drying, here's our box. It's ready to have our set put into it, and I made sure that there was enough room to like if this little tab is weird on the side, that you could tuck that in, and that you could tuck in the other side. And then the reason we have these little flaps is I wanted to make sure that because there's all these odd pieces on this plastic box. So what we're going to do is we're going to tuck this down in like that. Then we're going to take our little flap and tuck it in. That's why we cut that edge. We made it so that they were a little bit pointy. And then you're going to take the top flap and you're going to tuck that in like that. Okay? So now our box is a perfect little box. Now to seal this, you can do a few different things. If you want it to be reopenable and reclosable, you could put a little Velcro piece in there, and that's fine. You could put a magnet in there. You could do, basically you can come up with, the sky's the limit. I have reusable glue dots. I'm going to use some ultra thin glue dots. I'm just going to run a little strip of them right across there. These are clearly not, I mean, this is not a permanent closure solution, which is good because you can, you know, rip it open, put it back in, whatever. Then I'm going to do decorations on it. And I made this bow with my Bow Jig that comes with the envelope punch board. I don't particularly love it, so I'm not 100% committed to it. I'm going to look at my my selections of ribbon and see if I have a ribbon that I think would make it look better. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to run 2 strips of it. Because it's got this one scalloped edge, I'm putting a little bit of tear tape on the back just to kind of hold my ends so I don't have to stick my finger back there and hold on to it all the time. You know how that makes you crazy? I don't know if it makes anybody else crazy, but it makes me crazy doing that. I think I'm gonna go right there with it. Now I need my fabric scissors. If you use scissors for paper and then you try to use them on fabric, you're going to have trouble with that because the paper will dull your scissors. So I recommend that you go to the Dollar Tree and buy yourself a pair of dollar scissors that you can use. Then we're going to do, I'm going to try to do a bow with my finger bow jig so you can get a big laugh out of that. But there's a tool called a bow jig, and it basically is just pegs on a piece of wood. You can make it out of, you could use a fork for the same effect, or in my case, I'm going to show you how to do it with your fingers. Okay, I'm going to use these 2 fingers and we're going to make them into my bow jig. After I do this, I'm going to show you a bow jig so that you can see the real thing, so you know what to do. Okay, you're going to run your bow, your material like this. You're going to have one end on this side of your hand and the other end on this side of your hand. This is the piece we're going to work with. You're going to take that piece and you're going to go underneath and in between those 2 fingers. Okay? Then, making sure that everything stays on your fingers, you're going to pull that piece. I'm going to try and pull it a little tighter. I don't want it to come off my fingers right now. Okay. Then you're going to pull this piece over the top like that. And then you're going to, I got to get my finger out of the way. You're going to tie this into a single knot. I know you can't even see, but hold on while I just tie that one little knot. In the center of the 2, you want to tie a single knot like that. Got it? In the center. Tie it and hold it tight. Then you're going to take it off your fingers and you've got the perfect bow. I know you found that unbelievably hard to believe that I did that, but that's how I roll. I'm going to show you a real bow jig, and maybe you can decide for yourself what other kind of thing you could use to make a bow jig. This is a bow jig. The length of your bows is determined by how far apart these pegs are. So I'm going to take my bow apart so that I can do this for you again. And I'll just leave that one. I'll just cut another string. Why not, right? So let's say we're going to do a bow this big, and that's a pretty hefty size bow. You're going to do the exact same thing. Remember, I wrapped it around my whole hand with my 2 fingers up. This is the equivalent of 2 fingers. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take the right piece and you're going to go underneath everybody, making sure nothing wrinkles. So you're now underneath. You're going to take it up and over the top, and try, and if you've got a wrinkle in that part, you want to fix it, because the back is actually the front of your bow. Okay, so you've got it like that. Then you want to do that single knot that I told you about, and I do my single knot so that I turn it. I basically pull it side to side instead of up and down like right now. What you want to do is make sure it's centered. This is important. Make sure that your bow at this this piece is in the center of these 2, and then you're going to pull it. And like I said, I pull mine from side to side like that. And then you've got a perfect bow. One thing I will tell you is, you know that thin satin ribbon that you get? Don't use it for this. It comes back apart every time. It'll drive you crazy. But this is the bow I made with my finger bow jig, and this is the one I made with the regular bow jig. So it's, there isn't that much of a difference, even though I'm kind of crazy. So what I would tell you is, if you don't have a bow jig, have one of your kids stick 2 fingers up, and you just use them like I just showed you, and it will make it simple as anything. I guarantee you will be amazed at how easy it is to make a bow once you've got that down pat. So I'm going to just tuck my strands, my ends, underneath. I think I want to gather my my ribbons in the middle. Let's see what that looks like. I'm going to kind of practice first and see if I like the idea or not. It kind of looks like a curtain almost. I'm kind of digging it. What do you think? And then I'm going to just trim my ends with my ribbon shears. I don't know. Would that look cool or stupid? Alright, I'm going to do that. I know it's probably going to look stupid, but I'm going to do it anyway. Putting a glue dot on that leaf right there. And then you want to make sure that you don't have your ribbon flipping over like mine is right now. You want to have everybody lined up straight like that. Apparently they all want to stick up, so I'm just going to have to glue dot a bunch of them. Why not, right? It adds to the prettiness of the package, right? I checked my Dollar Tree just to make sure, and they do still have this gift set available. I looked online though, and they didn't have it online, so I'm not sure if other Dollar Trees have it or don't have it. I hope they do. I had a lot of fun with this. I think it'll make a really great Mother's Day gift, and the boxing made it for me. It made me happy to be able to make a box that was custom made for it. So I hope that you give it a thumbs up, that you subscribe, and please tell your friends about me on social media, because you know I love that. And thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.